Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the AV room. And we've got a special show today. And it's going to be on something that was sent to me from Johnny at Channel 910. Channel 910 is a YouTube channel covering music, much like this one, and giving our thoughts and opinions on our favorite albums. And he covers a lot of Beatles stuff, which is really great. So check out Channel 910. I will leave a link below this video's description. So I've got it. If you haven't noticed, a special guest with me today. It's Mrs. AV Room, known as Tia. This is my wife, Tia, and she has to put up with everything pertaining to this channel and music. And Johnny from Channel 910 sent us something. What did he send us?
This is the Last Unicorn album from Germany.
Yes.
I don't know anything about audio visual, by the way,
So this CD, to the best of my knowledge, I tried to do some research because apparently people were saying it was re-released, but I couldn't find any on that. I only have knowledge that it was a 1982 release only in Germany and perhaps a few other countries, but overseas it has had no US release to my knowledge, especially on vinyl. May have had a CD release on American somewhere along the line, or re-release overseas, but this CD is from Germany, and Johnny sent us the vinyl from Germany, and that's what Tia is holding.
Das Lied, I don't know how to pronounce it. Das Lädchen Einhorn. Das Lädchen Einhorn.
Okay. So that's the Last Unicorn, and the reason we're talking about it, if you saw the thumbnail for this video, my wife is probably one of the world's largest Last Unicorn fans. She's a fan of the movie. And we've watched it several times. So I'm used to watching it on a sound bar with the soundtrack and the CD on the soundtrack. But I hadn't heard the vinyl like this. This is a much better copy. And I gave it an ultrasonic clean. And I heard differences. So I thought we would talk a little bit about it. The Last Unicorn is a 1982 soundtrack composed and arranged by Jimmy Webb of the band America. And it has 2 songs by America on this soundtrack, as well as the London Symphony Orchestra. The album contains the film score to the 1982 film and is based on the novel of the same name by Peter S. Beagle. I guess Peter S. Beagle has mixed feelings on this adaptation of the film. He likes elements, he doesn't like elements. What author is any different? But in 1982, this film was released. It didn't do great. It did okay. It was animated, but slightly adult in nature, which I think somewhat put a lot of older people off, and only came around later learning of its connections to the band America. The title track in Germany got airplay and actually was a top 100 hit for 7 weeks.
That's really cool.
I mean, did you ever hear anything from this on the radio?
No, never.
Yeah.
No, I would say that because I was born in 81, so I didn't come into this until, the 90s.
Okay.
So, and I was really mostly a fan of the animation.
That's where we really got it. Yeah, and unicorns.
And unicorns, obviously. I was 10.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense. 10-year-old obsessed with a unicorn cartoon. Yeah, so the theme song hit number 38 in
That's
Germany.
impressive. So there was a bunch of Germans just like bopping to it, driving down the road in their Volkswagens.
And some facts I found out from doing some research for this video with Tia on the vinyl was that it had a lot of covers, which I never knew.
Yeah, there's a couple that we got to check out for sure. The one on Kenny Loggins, it was a children's.
Oh,
Pooh Corner.
Yeah, Welcome to Pooh Corner by Kenny Loggins had a cover.
Return to Pooh Corner.
Return to Pooh Corner had a cover of The Last Unicorn sung by Kenny Loggins. It also was.
But it wasn't a Winnie the Pooh. But it was a Winnie the Pooh album with a unicorn cover.
Well, I think it was just probably children's songs. Stuff from movies and Disney
Pooh Corner was funny, so kids would want it.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. And Art Garfunkel from Simon and Garfunkel covered "That's All I've Got to Say," which is the sung by Mia Farrow in the film, but sung by another singer on the soundtrack. And Art Garfunkel covered that.
Katie Irving.
Katie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
So in the film, if you're hearing the singing, it's actress Mia Farrow, sister to Tia Farrow. But on the soundtrack,
her sister's name is Tia?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, it did have, and it was also sung twice on the science fiction show The Orville.
Yeah, that was a silly show, but we didn't stick with it.
Yeah, Leighton Meester and Scott Grimes sang it.
Mm-hmm. Leighton Meester played opposite Blake Lively on Gossip Girl.
Okay, all right. So before we get to talking about the vinyl, which we'll do in a second, I did want to point out that there are, doing the research for this, there was a gentleman online who resequenced the songs. And I'm a huge fan of soundtracks. And one of the things that always gets people with soundtracks are they're generally arranged to fit the audio of the album or CD in this case. So they usually restructure. So as you know, as you get closer to the inner groove, you can get inner groove distortion. So they try to put, a lot of musicians try to put the best songs closer to the start or the middle where the sonics are better.
Ah.
And I could tell you.
I didn't know that because otherwise, why would you put them out of order? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It's like that on a lot of rock albums too.
Okay.
So we listened to several tracks. We've of course listened to both of these in full. But right before recording this, we listened to the first 4 tracks. And I staggered them. I would go LP, I would go CD, I would go LP, I'd go LP, I'd go CD, I'd go CD. So she wasn't hearing one source repeatedly. And I wanted to get her version of what she was hearing from this vinyl versus this CD. And I know I heard differences, but I want to know what you heard. So the first track we listened to was The Last Unicorn. Mm-hmm. Then we listened to Man's Road. Mm-hmm. Then we listened to In the Sea. And then we listened to Now That I'm a Woman. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's all I've got to say. So maybe the first 5 we listened to. So what did you hear a difference between the CD and the vinyl? Did you hear a difference?
Yeah, but I'm not a music person in general, so I'm probably going to give you an unsatisfactory answer.
Well, tell them.
Yeah, obviously the vinyl sounds deeper, richer, warmer tones. I think you can. Oops, I think I bumped the mic. I think you can tell pull out the instrument sounds easier with the vinyl than you do CD. And the CD, it kind of all sounds like the same level, if that makes sense. And then with the vinyl, it kind of feels more surround sound, even though it's coming out of the same speakers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, now that's literally what I heard between these two. If you were to give me an option, I would prefer to hear the vinyl because it's a larger sound stage, we call it. Mm-hmm. It's more enveloping, as you were saying. The deeper bass really stood out to me.
Yeah.
Between the two.
I would want to play through those same speakers, a streaming version.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Because who has CDs?
See, people, this is a non-layman's opinion on the entire.
And I'm not a kid. I'm an elder millennial. So
Correct.
I grew up with cassette tapes and recording crap off the radio and stuff like that. But what am I going to carry around a pack of CDs for?
So.
And vinyl is like, you don't carry around vinyl. You put it in one room in your house.
Now, one thing I can say is when we were listening today, it's very windy outside. We live in West Texas. And I have you've heard me talk about it on the channel, static problems with this room. A lot of static. So I have to go through my process of de-static on everything. And I ultrasonic clean the vinyl and rebag the vinyl and then give it anti-stat gun and etc. And it was still tough today. Anytime I touched or walked anywhere near my stereo, I was getting static interference. But the one thing I can definitely say, I heard a difference between the two formats. As you said, the CD we often call it compressed. Mm-hmm. It feels like they compress the sound whilst trying to what we call bricking, mm-hmm. which is they push everything as far as they can push it without getting distortion. And so between the compression and
Why
the
would they do it that way?
was what they did in the 90s.
Why?
Yeah, it was just 80s. It was bad. Not it wasn't as bad, I should say. The 90s, it got really big. It got into this thing they called the loudness wars, where everybody put a CD in and wanted it to be loud because what they heard before was loud. So if Def Leppard was loud and you put in Metallica and it was quieter, they'd go, well, that doesn't sound as good. So they tried to meet levels, and it was what was known as the loudness wars. Now, this is from 1982. So that really shouldn't have been happening, but I can...
You'd think there'd be like an industry standard volume level of output.
Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about this discussion, because you've all heard it as well as I have before, but Tia has never really had discussions about the loudness wars, breaking, or compression. And I definitely got compression in this. It's not to say it doesn't sound good. It's clear. The symphonics are clear. The songs by America are fantastic.
It's got a convenience factor to it as well.
Yeah, and no static.
Right.
So, or crackles and pops, because this is a 1982 pressing. This is not 2026 audiophile.
Yeah, it's as old as me. It's had a good life.
Right.
Rode hard, put away.
And last year, America came to where we live here in town in the Permian Basin, and we couldn't see him due to the prices. It was just too expensive to hear one song, maybe Horse with No Name. You love A Horse with No Name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we both are fans of America. And they do have recent represses. Rhino Reserves, or I should say Acoustic Sounds put out a version, or is putting out a version of 45 RPM, whereas the Rhino Reserves is 33 RPM. This is 33, not 45. So you are going to have audio differences. That's the width of what they're allowed. Like you could put 3 songs on a side versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what it does is increases the audio fidelity, that surround and that warmth increases with a 45 RPM versus a 33. But this was clearly aimed at kids buying the soundtrack or fans of the book that bought the soundtrack. So I think it behooved them to put it out in both formats. And this was an early CD, that was just coming into its own CDs in the 80s. It really took off in the 90s. And that's when vinyl went away. So thank you to Johnny for sending this. I know Tia really enjoys having it.
Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah, she really enjoys it. I have a certain section of records just for her, but she really doesn't even play them. You're not really a music person, per se.
No. If I do, it's just to fill the background or drown out some, idiot neighbor's Taylor Swift crap.
She's an artist and she listens to music just like I do when I draw or paint. But we wanted to thank Johnny, and I wanted to get her 2 cents. It was interesting that you agreed with what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that the vinyl sounds better.
It does.
There we go, guys. Jury's still out on the streaming. Maybe it'll be a sequel episode where we talk about these cover tracks that we shortly discussed. But you guys agree with us? If you don't disagree, if you'd like to see this re-released in an audio file format or even on CD format, let us know. I think it's due for a re-release because there never was one in America.
Yeah, I think people who grew up in the 90s that are my age now have, kids that are getting older. So now they've got grandkids that they're babysitting or whatever, and they're going to want to share this crap with them. Not crap, but, their childhood nostalgia.
Okay.
With their ugly little Rugrats.
Well, leave us a comment, like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. I'm getting way more people viewing than I have subscribers. So do me a favor. It just takes one simple click and would help the channel out a great deal. So thank you so much for the special episode. Tell everybody, tell Tia what you thought. Leave a comment, say hello, and maybe she'll be back for more episodes. Who knows? Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Peace.